Hey Forge fans, Anthony Urciuoli with you. 3 keys to the match for Forge FC as they travel to Edmonton to take on FC Edmonton at Clark Stadium, 9 o'clock Tuesday night. Forge needing all 3 points. The last time Edmonton and Forge played, it was at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. And Coach Koch for Edmonton after the match said it was like watching men playing against boys, Forge being the men, Edmonton being the boys. It was that dominant of a performance. So Forge looking for a repeat. It'll be tougher. Clark Stadium, not an easy place to play. Players, coaches have already alluded to some of the issues with the grass and especially early in the season. But end of the day, Forge FC cannot let this opportunity pass to pick up all 3 points. By the way, last time they played too, don't forget, that was Taryn Campbell's coming out party for Forge FC. He had a brace that game, and it looked like the player that Forge acquired in the off season, and he's looking to get back on track after, well, really, no one got anything going last match against CF Montreal. Let's get to the 3 keys here, and key number 1, avoid the banana peel. What's the banana peel? Maybe head coach and technical director of Forge FC, Bobby Smirniotis, can explain it.
This is what we call the banana peel game sometimes. When you look at the opponent you're playing, they're at the bottom of the table. But then you look at the results of Edmonton, and they've all been very close.
All right, banana peel trap game. Forge FC will play Toronto FC at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. Tickets still available, by the way. That'll happen this Saturday. One of the biggest matches in the history of Forge FC, just in terms of what it means outside of Hamilton and in Toronto and Canadian soccer. A lot of focus will be on Forge, on TFC for that match. In fact, Forge FC players and coaches have seen media this week they've never met before. The reason they're in Hamilton covering Forge is because they're playing Toronto FC. You can put it in the back of your head, but you can't just forget that. It's going to be very close to being front of mind. So Forge will have to compartmentalize here and focus on Edmonton. Edmonton is the banana peel. They are the potential trap game, and they cannot drop points in the league table in these kinds of matches. On the road against the last place team, regardless of how Forge feels their season has gone to this point, you're playing the last place team. You're still considered one of the top teams in the Canadian Premier League. Proven track record, proven coach, proven leaders. You cannot not get 3 points in Edmonton. Avoid the banana peel. Key number 2, follow the leaders. I mentioned the leadership group. When you're in a spot like this, you blow out Halifax on the road, handing Halifax their worst home loss in club history, and then a few days later, play one of your worst matches in the history of the organization for Forge against CF Montreal in the Canadian Championship and lose that match 3-0. It's huge disappointment, that match was. They've all said it. Now, here's the thing. To get that to have that kind of roller coaster feeling as a club, especially if you're a young player, it's a match like that, a loss like that is kind of jarring. So you look to guys like Kyle Becker, like Urciuoli Janssen, like Tristan Henry. Tristan Borges has been here long enough now. Dominic Samuel. The leadership group on this club, this is where they need to have their best games of the season. Lead by example. They're capable of it. We expect them to. But that is going to be a big key. It's for the leaders to step up against Montreal and for the rest to follow. Key number 3. Reclaim the middle. In that loss against CF Montreal, Forge was terrible in the middle of the field. And it was a specific issue called out by head coach Bobby Smirniotis after the match. Forge have to dominate the midfield, box to box. You win the midfield way more often than not, you're going to win the match. And Forge, just to get themselves feeling good, to feel like they did after that Halifax win, where they just dominated. I mean, they dominated every zone, but the midfield, they really dominated. And you have the guys to do it. We mentioned Becker. Hoja Rapport is a guy that we haven't talked about much since the beginning of the season. He's the guy that's Forge is going to rely on to dominate the midfield, and we'll see where Ashton Yodi plays. But he could be back in the midfield this week. So reclaim the midfield, and those are your three keys. Forge FC able to complete even 2 out of 3. They're in pretty good position to get that win against Edmonton and to feel good going in to that match on Saturday at Tim Hortons Field against Toronto FC. Those are your 3 keys. And don't forget, plenty more content for you on the Forge Audio Network, including the match in review, which will be posted and which will be uploaded after the match between Edmonton and Forge. You can subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get the content on YouTube, on the Forge FC official website, and on all social media channels. Enjoy the match against Edmonton. We'll talk to you soon.